Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I can't keep my pants on. I've been sugar-free, flour-free 36 days. So thank you. All right, so today we're at part 3 of the Rainbow series. A lot of us are wearing yellow today to honor that. The first part of the Rainbow series was we wore red, and we dove into this idea of fate versus destiny. Fate doesn't ask us to make any changes at all. Destiny asks us to make changes. And the best way to go about doing that, first of all, is we accept the package that is our life. Accept the package that is our life. Because if we can't accept what's going on in our life, we get focused on the problem, so we can't have perception when those solutions present themselves. Okay, so we accept the package that is our life, and we trust how Spirit works through us and in our lives. The second part of the Rainbow series, we wore orange to honor the generosity of Spirit. And the generosity of Spirit is about accepting the package of our relationships, right? That people are how they are. We accept others how they are, but we remember the activity of Spirit in every person. Sometimes they have no idea and they don't believe it, and we may be the only one that remembers that for them. And when we remember the activity of Spirit in someone else, we help to call it forth through them. But today we're wearing yellow, and today is about personal empowerment through divine guidance. When we trust and act on divine guidance, we move a lot faster through our transformations. Because our transformation is about what we do. We are souls here having an experience. We're not meant to sit around and do the same old thing every day in our comfort zone. Life is about new experiences and having we expand our consciousness when we move into those new experiences. However, we get really proficient at blocking divine guidance, and when we block our divine guidance, our self-esteem is not what it should be. Because when we don't listen to divine guidance, we don't trust ourselves. And it takes self-esteem to trust and act on that higher wisdom that comes through us. So, to get our self-esteem going so we can listen and hear that divine guidance, we have to accept the package that is our body. So first of all, we accept the package that is our life, then we accept the package that is other people, now we accept the package that is our body. Now this can be really hard, because our physical body may have some weird, quirky things going on with it. We may have aches and pains, or some illness. Maybe we get sick more than we want to be sick, right? Because we just want to be sick a little. That just sounded funny. We get sick and we don't want to be sick, right? And we may compare ourselves to other people our age, who maybe they can eat sugar all the live long day and feel fine, but some of us can't eat sugar and feel fine. We have to accept that, right? But it's hard. It is hard to accept that. We have to accept our own level of intelligence. We meet at people, there's always going to be somebody smarter than we are. Everywhere. There will always be somebody smarter than we are. But when we look at somebody else and think, wow, they're brilliant. Wow, they always have all these great ideas. Why don't I get an idea like that? Why do they move forward and they make it look so easy? Right? We are comparing ourselves to other people. We will also judge and critique what we are capable of. We do not honor our gifts and our talents. There's something working through us, and we may look at another person and say, well, they do it better than me. Or I shouldn't even be trying because this other person is so amazing at it. But we are our own worst critic. We judge what we are capable of all the time. We underestimate ourselves. We underestimate what we are capable. We never give ourselves credit. That's what happens when we're not accepting who we are. And we won't trust ourselves to be able to do the hard thing, right? That hard thing. And whenever we step out of our comfort zone, that first step is going to be hard. You know, when I went off sugar, it was hard. It was hard, but I had to stick to it. But you know what? 10 years ago, when I went off sugar and it was hard, I justified it. And I was like, oh, it's hard because maybe I'm not supposed to be doing that, right? I actually said that to myself. Oh, it's hard, so maybe I shouldn't even try. All right? Also, when we're not accepting the package that is us, we are going to need a lot of approval. And so maybe we get brave and finally share our gift, and then somebody is like, well, that was stupid. Why did you do that? That wasn't very good, right? So because we didn't get that approval, we give up. That's what happens when we don't accept the package that we are. Now, personal empowerment happens through divine guidance. And when I tell people divine guidance, I will often get asked, well, you mean like that fortune-telling stuff? Like, no. Divine guidance is our intuition. It is our intuition. It's not fortune-telling. Intuition, we all have it. It is that gut feeling that we get about something. It is our ability to discern the truth. It is when we hear something, and a lot of us will do this, not everybody, but a lot of us will hear something as truth and we'll go, uh-huh. We'll actually have an uh-huh that comes out of us, okay? Intuition will tell us what to do right now. What's best right now, but it's also going to ask us to do something or guide us to do something, invite us to do something that's out of our comfort zone. Often when we say, I just don't know what to do, what we're really saying is, well, I know what I should do, but I don't want to because it will be hard. But see, every time we step out of our comfort zone, it's going to feel strange and different, right? Like the new shoes. Right? Somebody gave me some shoes that were really high heels. I haven't worn high heels in years. And I could wear them, but it felt so strange. It felt so strange. But we get used to it. So stepping out of the comfort zone, often people think, well, it feels too weird and uncomfortable, so maybe I'm not supposed to do that. But it's always going to feel strange, and that's a good thing. If you are being guided to do something that even scares you a little, that's a good thing. The reason people don't like intuition or don't want to act on their intuition is because they don't get any guarantees. They don't get promises of a happy outcome. See, our intuition is like our GPS on our car. When you plug in your destination on your GPS, you have your starting point and you have your destination. Your GPS will get you there. But it's not going to guarantee that you won't have bad weather to drive through. It's not going to guarantee your dog's not going to throw up in your back seat. It's not going to guarantee you're not going to hit some potholes or that you might have to stop and get gas. It's not going to guarantee a smooth ride. Even if you have to take a detour, it will get you on course. That's all it does. Your GPS gets you back on course to get to your destination. Now, our intuition, our IGS, Intuitive Guidance System, all it does is it guarantees that it will get us from who we are right now into the person that we want to be with that new consciousness. It's not guaranteeing a smooth ride. It's not guaranteeing our dog is not going to throw up in the backseat of our car. But it will get us back on course if we detour from it. It will get us back on course if we have a challenge that we're faced with. That's what our intuition does. It does not provide guarantees. It does not provide security. It doesn't say, oh yeah, if you quit your job, I promise for the rest of your life you'll be healthy and happy, you'll have great love, your dog will never throw up in the backseat of your car, right? It doesn't do that. It does not give us any security. Our security comes from trusting what it is that works through us, for us, as us, knowing. Anytime we're put off course, anytime we face a challenge, there's something within us that will help us get around it, over it, or through it. God is bigger than anything in his way. Helen Keller said, security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Life is a daring adventure. It's not a promise of easiness and smoothness. It's not that promise. Intuition is actually God-given. And there are actually many references to it in the Bible, just not like, it's not called intuition. It's called other things, like the Holy Spirit moving through you or receiving, a vision. A lot of people think, oh, well, to amp up my intuition, I have to have special wind chimes or bells or wear a certain essential oil. And this stuff can all be fun. It can be fun, but what strengthens our intuition, our divine guidance, is acting on it. Okay, so Kevin is going to show us, I picked out 3 verses just to share with you today, so you know I wasn't just pulling your leg. This is from Paul. Never cease giving thanks. Now we have heard that before, right? Not just never cease giving thanks. Always give thanks. Why? So that God may give you the spirit of wisdom and revelation and the knowledge of him, so that the eyes of your understanding may be enlightened. When we are thankful, we become aware of the activity of spirit in our life. The opposite of thankful is complaining. Now, when we're complaining, we can no longer see the activity of spirit in our life. Always sees our problem. And we're focused on the problem, and we're not going to be able to hear the guidance that would give us a solution. This is why we always give thanks. Okay, Kevin, next one. This is from Job. Truly, there is a spirit in men, and the breath of God gives them understanding. We are capable of receiving understanding of that next thing we need to do. We're capable of receiving the understanding of what would be good for us, what would guide us forward. We may not want to act on it because, again, it may be telling us to do something out of our comfort zone. Okay, next one, Kevin. This one's my favorite because I also teach, working with dreams. Sometimes during the day, we are receiving that intuition, but we're being really stubborn about it. Like, no, that would be hard. That can't be divine guidance. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering upon the bed, then he opens the ears of men. We receive a dream that guides us to do something. And it will usually be so weird we can't stop thinking about it. And it'll come to us in a way that makes us willing to think about it for a while. Because it's not going to be literal. It's going to be symbolic. So it won't scare us right off the bat. Maybe once we, interpret it, that will change. Okay, that's it. There's a whole bunch though in the Bible if you want to look them up. So to accept the package that we are in, we have to trust in divine guidance. And then we have to act on that divine guidance. Now, trusting and acting on divine guidance, this is about becoming conscious of who we are and what we are capable of. Now, I talk about becoming more highly conscious a lot. And when I say becoming more highly conscious, what I mean is we see the world in a different way to include the greater good that's available to us. So we're always expanding our perception. We're always expanding the way that we see the world to include the next best thing for us. That's what being highly conscious is to see things in a different way and receive our greater good. This is the most important step of the hero's journey, right? You've all heard of the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell talked about it a lot. Joseph Campbell, this renowned scholar, said the story of Star Wars is the very best example of the hero's journey. And so I always support watching Star Wars. But see, we cannot become conscious, we cannot become more highly conscious if we're not acting on our divine guidance. Because the divine guidance we receive is what moves us into that bigger perception. It's the divine guidance, not our old way of thinking, the old way of thinking that keeps getting us what we're getting. Divine guidance leads us into a new way of thinking. A highly conscious person allows more good. Okay, so I talked about Luke Skywalker in the first part of our Rainbow series. And I talked about how in Fate versus Destiny, Luke had to face either his fate was to stay on Tatooine Or if he wanted to move toward his destiny, he had to climb onto that Millennium Falcon, right, with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He climbed on the Millennium Falcon, and he went on an adventure. But climbing on the Millennium Falcon was not the transformation. It did not transform him. It got him started on a new adventure. But he didn't become conscious of what he was capable of just by stepping on the Millennium Falcon. It wasn't until the end of the movie, like it always is, right, the end of the story. At the end of Star Wars, he is with a bunch of other fighter pilots. They're in their little X-Wing fighters, and their goal is to blow up the Death Star. And Luke has the technology in front of him. He's shooting, he's missing. But he keeps hearing Obi-Wan say, "Trust the Force, Luke. Trust in the Force." Well, after trying and failing, he pushes aside technology. He closes his eyes, he takes a shot, and he blows up the Death Star. That was his transformation, when he finally understood what he was capable of doing.
Sorry.
That's okay. When we are conscious of who and what we are, we walk by faith and not by sight. Okay, that's what the Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians. We walk by faith and not by sight. We don't let our perception of our life wear us down. We don't let our perception of what we're capable of, because of what the evidence around us, we don't let that wear us down, because we have faith in what it is that works through us. And we know, by trusting this, we know what we are really capable of. When we accept the package that is our life, we can feel our body and think about the aches and the pains and the other weird, quirky things that may be going on. I know for myself, I did something a couple of weeks ago that I have never done. That was, I pulled a muscle and I immediately laid on an ice pack. I didn't have to do that when I was 20. But I was accepting the here and now and realizing, okay, I'm gonna lay on the ice pack and be nice to myself. And it worked. It worked. I was like, why didn't I think of this before? I was a massage therapist for 20 years, right? And I was still refusing to lay on an ice pack because I didn't have to do that when I was 20. Okay, so now I'm accepting the package that my body is in and caring for it. Caring for it as it is now. We accept our own intelligence. When we see somebody else who's doing something and they're making it look really easy, we just remind ourselves, well, if they can follow their guidance and express their talents in the world, then I can. Because the same thing working through them is at work in me. If it has been done, it can be done. So if somebody else trusted and created and expressed something that they loved, we can express something that we love. If it's been done, it can be done. We accept our gifts and talents, and we know that we can do the hard thing to start getting them out into the world. You know, when a rocket ship takes off of our planet to go into space, it expends the most rocket fuel just getting liftoff, just to get out of our atmosphere. That's when it blows off the most fuel. That when we are trying to get something moving, we will use the most energy that we have to use. And that's why sometimes it's like, oh, this is so hard, right? But the rocket, it just uses all the fuel it needs to get out of the atmosphere. And that's what we do too. We can do that hard thing. We can do that hard thing because there's that within that knows what to do and how to do it. And it compels us to act on what it knows. We will trust what inspired us in the first place. It inspired us. We received an inspiration. The thing that we love and want to express into this world was put there by something bigger than the physical body. So we trust in that put it there in the first place. We won't feel like we need approval because we are going to trust what we are doing so much. We're going to trust what we're giving. We love it so much. We believe in it. If somebody else doesn't approve, that's okay. That's for them. But we trust it so much. We just put it out there. That is what transformation does for us, right? We're trusting it. We're putting it out there. We are accepting the package that our life is in. We are receiving, understanding the divine guidance, and then we are acting on it. We're doing something with it. We're doing something with it. So we trust ourselves. We trust any decisions that we have to make, because we know if we get on a detour or we're up against an obstacle of some sort, that within will get us through it, over it, around it. Right? God is bigger than anything in its way. Now, this also will allow us to be the generator of grace. Remember, I talk about grace, that it's a noun and a verb. Grace is a state of being. We receive the grace. We feel the grace. And then we are the activity of grace, giving it out to other people. And that grace is the activity of spirit. That is anything we need. It is spirit giving itself, whatever we need in that moment, peace, love, okay, any kind of guidance, it's already available to us, even before we asked. That's how available it is, right? And we also can become a grace generator for other people who they're not trusting their gift. They're not trusting what they have to share with the world. So we get to be a grace generator for them. So we want to remember that if it's been done, it can be done. There's a reason that we have something we love that we want to share. And it was put there by something bigger than the physical body. When we trust and act on that divine guidance, we get more and more divine guidance. We get better and better at understanding it and acting on it. It's really one of those things that the more we use it and act on it, the more we get. Right? We get more and more, because our universe survives through the law of divine compensation, a giving and a receiving. The universe is giving us divine guidance. We give back to the universe by acting on the divine guidance. Because we've just given something, we have to receive something back. And that will be more divine guidance. This is how we keep it in circulation. This is a divine law. The law of circulation. The law of divine compensation. Okay, so until next time, remember, you are the Word of God made manifest. The way is made open before you. In everything you do, you are blessed, and so it is.
Amen.